Hey everybody, Justin here from Virtua Computers. There is a growing tension right now inside of a lot of organizations. Everybody sees the potential of artificial intelligence, summarizing a document in seconds, drafting a report from raw notes, pulling insights out of data that would normally take hours to read through manually. But for a lot of teams, especially those handling sensitive information, there's a catch. The tools that do all of this stuff that I've mentioned, they typically run in the cloud. And that means your data has to leave your device, travel through someone else's servers, and sit inside someone else's infrastructure. Now, for some organizations, that right there is a non-starter. Not because they're paranoid, but because their policies, their regulations, or their obligations to their clients simply do not allow it. So the question becomes, is there another way? Let's make this real. Imagine a small healthcare nonprofit. They handle client intake forms, patient histories, operation reports, and they're bound to the strict data privacy policies. Their internal policy is clear. Client data cannot be processed by third-party cloud tools. This means ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, none of the usual suspects are on the table. But their staff still spends hours every week reading through documents, writing summaries, checking for inconsistencies, and pulling together notes for providers. The work is important and it's slow. So here's the question we wanted to test. What if AI could help with all that without ever leaving the device? The setup is surprisingly simple. A base level MacBook Air, a locally installed AI application is put into place and it runs Apple's own on-device foundation models. No cloud account, no API keys, no internet connection required. Everything runs on the device itself. The model lives on the machine. The documents stay on the machine and nothing is transmitted anywhere. So what I'm going to show you is that we loaded 3 documents that reflect the kind of work this nonprofit deals with daily. A client intake form, medical history, medications, personal data, messy handwriting notes digitized. It's not a particularly clean spreadsheet. An internal operation report covering staffing gaps, budget pressures, and service deliverability concerns. And the organization's data privacy policy, spelling out exactly what can and cannot be shared and with whom. Then we put the local AI through a series of tasks. We started by asking it to summarize a client's medical background and flag for any inconsistencies, like listed medication that doesn't match the stated conditions, and it caught them. So here on the laptop, I'm running a program called Locally, and I'm running the Apple Foundation's model. I have our client intake form here, which has a bunch of information about a particular client. Now keep in mind, yes, we're showing this online. None of this is real data. And we're going to ask the system to summarize the client's medical background and flag for any inconsistencies, such as a listed medication that doesn't match the stated conditions. And it is running locally on this device, a little slow because it is a base level MacBook Air, but it never went to the cloud. It actually pulled out the summary of the medical background, as you can see in the details, the contact information, the insurance, the medical history, allergies, hospitalizations, and any other pieces of information. Now look at the bottom here. It is actually pulling out the inconsistencies within the document. This is a great little piece here to pull that information out without having to read a very long document and try to figure out why there's an inconsistency. So this medication was listed, but no prescription date. This was stated in 2021, but the record showed 2019, and the frequency and the prescription of this particular drug are unclear. We next asked the model to identify risks in the intake form and highlight areas where follow-up might be needed. So back on our program here, we're going to say, identify risks in the intake form and highlight areas where follow-up may be needed. And here we go. It has found the risks here of chronic conditions, mental health concerns, childcare and family stress, and substance abuse, and has even listed the follow-up and all of the breakdown for who we should be sending to, why, where should we be checking for information, refill medications and make sure it's on time. We even found confirming the sliding scale of eligibility and a couple of other typical concerns you might be looking for in an intake form. The last thing we did is we asked it to draft a provider summary note, the kind of document that normally takes somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes to write from scratch. And as you can see, it took the document and wrote it out very quickly. It produced a usable first draft in seconds. All of that happened locally on just a simple MacBook Air with no internet connection. No data was uploaded, transmitted, or stored anywhere outside of the device. The setup took minutes. The results were practical and genuinely useful. Not perfect, but a good starting point that saves hours of manual work. We're not going to pretend that this is magic. Local AI has real limitations. It's slower than cloud-based models because you're running on local hardware, not a data center. The models themselves are smaller, which means they are less capable on complex reasoning tasks. Everything, even cloud-based AI, still needs a human review. This is more of a drafting tool and not a decision maker. And file handling has constraints. Some formats like scanned PDFs or images aren't 100% supported yet. This isn't obviously for everyone, but is specifically relevant for, let's say, healthcare organizations handling patient data, legal and financial teams working with privileged information, nonprofits navigating strict donor or regulatory privacy requirements, or any organization that has been told you can't use AI because of data sensitivity. You don't need a server, you don't need a cloud subscription, you don't even need to build a complex infrastructure or hire a team of engineers. Sometimes the most powerful solutions is the one that never leaves your device. If you're interested in learning more about how to run AI locally on your Mac, you can reach out to us at virtualcomputers.com.